Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's episode of Dion's Daily Dose. First of all, I apologize. A little bit of a late start. I had a couple of technical problems, but they say that happens when you get older. I'm kidding, obviously. Look, guys, it is, as I've said repeatedly, it is so critically important to vote. It's critically important to vote in the primary. And this year we have a large slate of candidates. Stay tuned. We're trying to get as many as we can before actual voting day, but we're in early voting now. As a matter of fact, I have the latest numbers. And the source of this, by the way, is the LaPorte County Election Board Facebook page. So far, mobile voting unit 64, Michigan City 221, and LaPorte 201. Yes. So anyway, total 486 people have voted so far, and voting just started. So today we have a special guest here, and that is Juanita Haney. Now, you guys may or may not know, depending on if you're from the area, the last name might be a little familiar. Now, there is a Haney running for something in Porter County. I've heard she's super nice. Julie. Yeah. No relation, but Juanita is related to Joe, the commissioner, through marriage. But no other way. This isn't Alabama, guys. It's Indiana. I was just being silly. Look, we're in it now. We're in the primary season, and there are those people who believe that if you dare to run against me, it's a personal attack. It's a very pointed, very personal thing. I don't look at it that way, but you know, I'm just a guy. So I believe that diverse primaries make the party stronger, because the more voices you can hear from, the more issues get brought up. Ta-da, there she is. I'm going to quit rambling, and we're going to actually get to what we're here for, which is to introduce Juanita Haney. Do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to?
I'm good either way.
Okay, just tell people who you are.
I'm Juanita Haney. I'm a strong supporter of 2A. I'm pro-life. I have 3 adult daughters. I've been married for 25 years in May, and
25 years.
25 years, yeah. I mean,
that's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
It reminded more every day, right? It's like, oh, this is
yeah. Joe's got his quirks.
Yeah. Oh, well, we all do. I mean, I know for a fact that I can be extremely annoying to live with. My wife reminds me of that on a daily basis.
No, Joe's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and
he's very supportive.
He is. Is he?
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things that at least I discovered when I ran for office is if your spouse doesn't like support you 100% and really jump into it, then it's super difficult.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard already. It's hard to run, especially like incumbents. I would argue incumbents have it significantly easier, just because they've already done this. They're in office. They've got the name recognition. They've got the this, the that. Whereas newcomers, people who haven't been elected to anything before, there's a lot of work to it that people don't think about. They don't know. Yeah. You get like messages at all hours of the day and night. You get random tags on social media that's like, whoa, like, what do you think about abortion? I have nothing to do with that right now. Like,
And as a state candidate, I mean, we kind of do.
Yeah, but it's settled. But
yeah,
I'm Indiana's
pro-life,
not going to revisit it.
So
right, and you're unapologetic about that.
Yeah.
But it's it's a settled issue. I mean, Indiana's not going to, at least in my prediction, Indiana's not going to mess with what they were already
I don't
able
think they will,
to get past.
But I mean, if anybody wants to know, yeah, I am pro-life.
Yeah.
I mean, I've walked in those shoes. I mean, I have a daughter and she's 28.
Okay.
And I had to make that choice. So, you know.
And so I was, when I was like 17, I ended up being told that I was going to be a father.
Yeah.
And at that time, even me personally, I was not in favor of abortion.
And it's a scary place to be when you're young.
It was terrifying.
And
yeah.
you don't know what you're going to do.
Oh my God, yes.
And and you're like, okay, well, I'm young. I don't know, like, how am I going to take care of a whole new person?
Right.
You can't hardly take care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
and
it's scary.
It is. And it's something that each person has to make their own individual choice about. Yeah, I don't preach to people. I tell them, that's between you and your body or doctor or whatever. I have my beliefs, but that doesn't, I'm not in charge of it. I can't, just flip a switch. But one of the things that I'm seeing, especially on, social media is going crazy over several races this year, and District 20 state rep is one of them.
It is.
There are many issues that people are saying that the incumbent is directly responsible for. Now, I'm not going to say that's true, that's false. I'm just saying what people on social media are saying. They're blaming the incumbent for high NIPSCO rates, data centers, toll roads. There's more.
There's more. Yeah.
There's more. It's a lot.
It's a long list.
It is a long list of just complaints, right? People that are not happy, at least according to social media. Now, one of the things that we've all come to learn is that social media is not exactly representative of the population.
That's about 20%.
Yeah. So it's people that are very vocal, but don't necessarily represent a large segment of the population.
Yeah.
But we do see a lot of people, especially NIPSCO. Now, whether or not he's actually, and I gotta be fair here, he doesn't control the NIPSCO rates.
He does not.
Has he voted for some stuff that I disagree with? Yes. Has he voted for some stuff, that may have influenced potentially, but he doesn't set the rates. Now, that said, there are a lot of pissed off people about NIPSCO and there are a lot of eyes on NIPSCO right now.
Yes, there is. Because
there's this whole lockout thing going on and the contract negotiations, and it's a big deal.
It is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it affects a lot of people.
It does.
And a lot of people are suffering.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yes, they are. I've heard from a number of people that are really struggling to pay their NIPSCO bill. Yeah. Ours here was astronomical. It went up. It skyrocketed. Yeah. Every month I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is this more than last month when I ran this less and I turned that off? Like,
I went to the NIPSCO when they were at the Civic, and I asked them questions, and we were gaslighted when we spoke with them.
I heard that's kind of how it went. I will say this. I was very disappointed at the turnout. I wasn't able to make it. I had prior engagement. I intended to go, but when I saw on Facebook, it was not a packed house. Now, that said, I think they could have done a better job of advertising that, and the time and date that they had it was not ideal for working adults. But again, people are very vocal. Yeah. There is a lot of movement on various Facebook groups that seem to be focused on doing something about it rather than just complaining.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that the more that people show up for something, the more you voice your opinion on something.
Right.
I mean, the title is representative, and you should represent the district that you're in. And when you are told that your district wants you to vote a certain way, or that your voice is out there, that's what you should respond to.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. So what calls you to this particular race, right? Obviously you live in the district, You've lived in the district for years.
Yeah.
You've seen the incumbent has been there 10 years.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, I'm a person who firmly believes in term limits. I don't like to see people
Same.
go for more than a couple of times.
I agree with
but that aside, I disagree with some fundamental things that have been voted, and I've discussed it before. This is no surprise to anybody who's watched the show. I've talked about the things that I disagree with, but it's a big step to it's one thing like me to sit here and bitch about it on the computer, but
it was a scary step.
Oh yeah.
I will tell you how I ended up here.
Okay.
I watch what goes on and I pay attention.
Right.
I even pay attention to global things that happen. Because ultimately that comes down the pipeline and it hits us eventually. It's a delayed hit, but it does hit us.
Yep.
So I pay attention to all the things that happen, not just locally, but on a greater scale.
Good.
That's important. I mean,
it is.
We should pay attention to those things. But locally here, I've seen things happen and have watched things for a long time happen. And I waited for someone to run this time.
There we go.
And I waited and I waited and I prayed about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of faith. And I said, oh boy, I wasn't planning on running for anything this election. In fact, some people asked me, I was like, no, I'm just going to help out in whatever way I can.
Right.
I'm not planning on anything. I really was not planning on running for anything this year. And then lo and behold, it comes down to that Friday. Nobody has ran. Yeah. Nobody's filed. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? There was a snowstorm that Friday. And I talked to Joe the night before. And I said, Joe, I think we need to take a drive down to Indy. I'm going to file. And actually, he was kind of surprised. I don't think he was expecting that at all.
All right.
And that's how I ended up driving to Indy in a snowstorm and filing for state rep.
Wow. Okay.
So I just felt like, things needed to be changed.
Yeah.
I think that our voices needed to be heard. And I'm running on restoration. Okay. And that is my campaign word. I feel it in my heart that District 20 needs restoration. Our voices have been muted for a long time.
Yeah.
And we need to turn the volume up.
Okay.
And it needs to be turned up in Indy.
All right.
So that's why I decided to run. I feel like we need a change. And I want to be that positive change that people need. And I've always spoken up for the voiceless. I've always been that advocate for things that cannot advocate for themselves.
Right. So I wanted to touch on that for just a moment. I noticed, and like we've known each other for a few years, ever since I initially ran for office. We do the breakfast monthly and whatnot. But I didn't realize that you were like part of a transplant team.
Yeah.
Until recently. Like I kind of thought I heard that talk about that a little bit, because that's huge. That's a big deal.
I don't view it as a big deal. It's just the job that I did. I mean, I started working in the OR when I was younger, and the University of Chicago had a transplant team, and I got put on the transplant team. So calls in the middle of the night. it's kind of a hurry up and wait job.
Yeah.
And then I worked at Children's Memorial on the transplant team when it was on Fullerton. It's no longer on Fullerton, so it was years ago.
Yeah. But so that had to be like, I imagine it's like very stressful, because children's hospital, like transplants, that's like very emotional.
It
I
is.
imagine.
It is. I have been impacted by that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Greatly.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Especially because my kids at the time were very young, because I did it before they were able to be schooled, because I quit that job to homeschool my kids. So the kids that I had, a lot of them were my kids' age.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So needless to say, every time I hit the gift shop on the way home and my kids got something.
Right. Yeah. A little. So, you know what?
Yeah. Because it makes you go home and hug your kids that much tighter.
Oh yeah. I imagine.
Yeah.
So you were part of a transplant team, which quick little side note. Is it like what they show on TV, right? Where they run to the helicopter and they get in,
Yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, they do have a life flight organs in.
Okay.
Sometimes they drive them in. It depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get organs from Northwestern
Okay.
and they bring them in. Yeah. So sometimes,
Sometimes
no.
it is that way. Yeah.
Sometimes you have, because you can have a living donor and they're in the next room.
Oh yeah, because you can have like what is it, the
living donors.
Yeah, like part of your liver
Yeah.
or the
Yeah, 'cause
kidney
your
or
liver
whatever.
will-
Yeah, because you got 2 kidneys.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yes.
And I did nephrectomies as well, which
Oh,
is
wow.
kidneys. So, but yeah, so the liver will regenerate.
Oh,
So
neat.
sometimes we've had patients that donated their livers and they did worse than the recipient.
Oh,
And
wow.
those were some really bad days.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
So-
that would be rough. Especially, the people that I mean, you got to be a special kind of person to let yourself get cut open and have a piece of your body
It
taken
takes
out.
a really long time to recover from that.
I've heard, yeah, because I looked into it a long time ago. I was gonna, try to be that guy, and I started reading all about it, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know this person. Like, that's a lot to go through. I don't know.
Yeah, it takes a long time to recover from that. And we've had a lot of patients come in, and a lot of people think, oh, they're alcoholics, but a lot of them aren't.
No,
sugar-
sometimes body parts just fail.
Well, sugar.
Yeah,
Sugar does the same thing to your body as alcohol does. And a lot of people
I've heard
don't
that.
realize that.
Yeah,
But yeah, you can get cirrhosis of the liver from being a sugar addict.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Cut down on those brownies, guys. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
most people don't realize that.
Huh.
Sugar.
I've heard actually sugar is like super toxic
It is.
for the body, and
It is. It's
just like anything
pure white
else,
deadly.
yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit's okay, but yeah.
It's very toxic to your body.
Wow.
It does a lot of things that most people don't realize.
Yeah.
So not just diabetes, but other things too.
Other things too. Shut down your organs. Wow.
Yeah. So, but
See, you learn something new every day. Once again,
So
check your diet.
my kids started growing up, and my kids needed me more. So
Yeah, that makes sense. And a lot of people don't know this because you and Joe both kind of go out of your way to shield your children from the public scrutiny that comes from your husband's position. Not because there's anything wrong with them, but because people are nuts. They're crazy now. Like they do insane things for no reason. So they may or may not be aware that you have children, you're a devoted mother, and now that they're older.
Yep.
So do you think well, let me ask you this. We're gonna pivot just a little bit. So one of the things that has been being pushed and has been brought forth by the governor is the whole cannabis thing, right? Marijuana, cannabis, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
We're surrounded by states where it's legal.
We're an island.
We are an island. Now, some people claim that that's because Eli Lilly controls a lot of the state legislature. Other people have other reasons. But Braun has said, well, maybe medical, right? Maybe medical. And I think that if Indiana ends up dipping their toe in the water, I think that's how it'll be.
Right.
If presented with a reasonable bill to have medical cannabis, would you be in favor of that?
I personally thought that it should be on the ballot as a referendum.
Okay.
I think that it should be. I think voters should be able to vote on that. I had a nurse come to me recently, and she had a study that they did clinically. Actually, she just texted me on the way over here.
Oh, okay.
And she is a nurse, and she showed that they did a study that it didn't help with like mental illness and PTSD.
Okay.
So that's a new study coming out.
Interesting. That it did not help.
That it did not help, and it was causing more mental illness. And it was causing, I guess, delusions. So I wanted to look more into that study.
I'd be interested in seeing that because I know there's been a lot of pressure on legislators and
I agree.
Other people.
I think that people should have a choice. I do believe that. I don't want to obviously hurt anybody.
Right.
You know. I think that pain-wise. Because I've looked at studies for pain.
Right.
And I think pain management, it does a good job.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think if they use it for the right reasons, Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
we should be using things for the right reasons.
So you'd be open at least to having the discussion about it and
Yes.
and potentially. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, people, I don't think anybody that's not doing it is not going to say, "Oh, it's legal. I'm just going to do it today." You know,
Right. Yeah.
I don't.
They don't just suddenly go,
Yeah.
oh yeah. It's again, Northwest Indiana, Michigan is right there. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's right there. You can go drive right across the Michigan border, and there are New Buffalo is infected
So
with them
okay,
now.
story time.
Yeah.
My husband is so innocent and
Aw.
so sweet.
Mhm.
We were putting up a sign
So naive.
on the road, and a car drives by. I guess coming back from New Buffalo,
Mhm.
because it's on that road where he would come back from New Buffalo. And a car drives by, and he goes, "Oh, I think somebody had a skunk." I said, "Honey, that's weed."
Oops.
And he goes, "Oh, that's what that is."
Is that what that smells
I
like?
said, "Honey, that's weed."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know." And I was like, "Ugh."
Aw.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's Joe for you.
It
Yeah.
happens. I mean,
He's sweet.
he is a genuinely, at least my opinion of him, he's a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah.
He really does everything that he can for people.
Yeah.
And
He's just a sweet, innocent
he
guy.
is so sweet and innocent.
Yes, he is.
And it's yeah, I could actually
So that was really funny though. But yeah, he was helping me put up signs, and yeah.
I was
It's like, I think somebody had a skunk. I'm like, yeah, that's not a skunk.
yeah, I mean, all skunks in the word, but right, yeah, and like you smell it everywhere now.
It is. And that's what I said. You can go to the Walmart parking lot.
Any
you can go
like
to the
driving
grocery
down the
store.
road.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get this massive whiff, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I hate the smell
Yeah.
of cannabis. I do. I detest the smell of it. I hate smoking it.
Yeah.
Personally, even when I was a teenager, man, I was awful. I was a bad kid. I did a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
And I was all about it. As I got older, I'm like, God, this it tastes awful. It hurts my throat.
Yeah.
But I don't think the government should dictate what we can and can't do.
Right.
I think that people need to be able to make their own decisions. And one of those things is alcohol. That's fine.
Right.
Tobacco,
Yeah.
with limitations, but by all means, if you're old enough, go in there and kill yourself with that.
And people do.
And people do.
Yeah.
But cannabis, absolutely not. But that's
Right.
And
I mean, the cannabis today is a lot different than it was
oh my
back in the
God.
day.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that stuff is like scientifically grown. It is
Right.
cultured. It is, the same way they do GMO on our crops, right? And they make, and I'm not talking about just the bad stuff, like bananas, right?
Yeah.
Bananas are very different than I guess the way that they started. Like they're
Yeah.
regular
Things have
original OG bananas
Exactly.
have been gone for a long time.
Yeah.
Corn, same thing.
Mhm.
So things evolve over time, and just like the seedless watermelons that you get,
Yeah.
they're not naturally like that. They grew those specifically.
Yeah.
They do the same
The
thing.
engineering.
Yeah, bioengineering.
The engineering.
They so one of the things that we've seen here in LaPorte County is a lot of talk, at least, and proposals and plans and this and that and the other for solar farms, data centers, all this other stuff.
Mhm.
Now, regardless of how people feel about data centers, because you're absolutely entitled to your own opinion. That's what America is all about. It's going to have an effect
Mhm.
on our power
Yep.
and our water.
On our water.
It just is.
Yep.
Are you in favor? First, two questions for you. Number one, are you in favor of state control or local control over what is allowed
I think
locally?
that local control is better.
Okay.
And I think the
I agree
state
with
should do whatever they need to do to make sure that local control has as much power to do what they need to do to regulate these things.
Okay. So if given the option, you would ensure that local control
Yeah.
would remain, and that,
Yeah,
for
home rule is
example,
important.
yeah, if Porter County or Stark and LaPorte,
Stark and
if
LaPorte, yeah.
Stark County wanted data centers, but LaPorte County didn't want data centers, or vice versa,
Yes.
those communities could make the decisions for
Yes,
themselves.
I think that that's necessary.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm also very upset over all these contractors with these signs that are covered up and these NDAs that these officials have signed.
Yeah. So just real quick, guys, if you're not familiar with what's going on here, we've got these surveyors or contractors or
Mhm.
these company vehicles
Mhm.
with these, they have the name on the side, Bubba and Sons, but they're covered up by like
White,
a sheet of
white
paper,
magnets.
like black, yeah,
Like a
or
white
excuse
magnet.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, the just plain white magnet to where you can't see the name of them. And so people have been like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a surveyor. I'm a this. I'm a that.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be.
No.
That shouldn't be allowed, especially when the reason that companies have their name on their vehicles is so that you can identify who they are,
Mhm.
B, report to the company if these people are doing
Damage or anything to your property.
Yeah. How are you supposed to know?
Yeah.
Who to contact
Mhm.
if something happens?
Yeah.
So another thing that we've discovered is that certain, and I'm not gonna name any names, but certain officials have signed non-disclosure agreements
Yep.
with companies. Look into it. And at least me personally, I am absolutely against any elected official, even people on board, signing NDAs because you should be answering to the voter.
Yes.
And the voter can't possibly know what's happening if you've signed an NDA.
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. This goes to like backdoor meetings and like.
Yeah. As a
it just
public
reeks of
official,
that.
you should be transparent.
Yes.
That's taxpayer money,
Mhm.
and the taxpayer needs to know what you are doing.
I agree.
You are an elected official. You should not be signing NDAs.
Right.
That is malpavo.
Yeah, I'd like to see some sort of, I guess, legislation or something.
There needs to be an outright ban on that.
There does.
Yeah.
I don't think any elected official should be able to even.
Maybe in a personal capacity, whatever you do personally, but in an official capacity, not at all.
Right.
Never.
Right. Like here's a for example, right? You're a researcher that, let's say you're working on cancer, vaccines or drugs or whatever, and you do that in your personal job. Sure. NDA all day long for that.
Yeah. It's your personal capacity.
It's your personal capacity.
Say you're a superstar and you make music.
Right.
And you have to sign an NDA for something like that. But if it's anything to do with an elected official and something to do with taxpayer dollars and it affects the community, you should never be able to sign an NDA.
Right.
Never.
Right. I agree. Okay. So what do you think is the biggest hurdle or issue or problem facing District 20 moving forward in the near and long-term futures?
Well, like I said, there's a laundry list.
Oh yeah.
There's a laundry list.
Pick one, man. Here's a hat.
There's a laundry list.
There are a lot of people.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that affect people differently. Like the NIPSCO thing they're working on now. Will that get solved in time? I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe I hope it does.
I'm worried.
But I mean you have people on fixed incomes that are trying to decide whether they pay their rent, they eat, or they pay their power bill.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, then they tell you, "Oh, you can get on the budget." Well, that doesn't help anybody.
I'm here to tell you, we're on the budget.
Yeah, that doesn't help anybody.
It does not, because you're still accruing charges.
Yeah.
The only thing the budget plan does for you is give you a massive balloon payment at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how does that help you?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I saw, as a matter of fact, I just got my latest NIPSCO bill in, and I opened it up and I looked at, I said, we're on the budget plan. We've been paying X amount every month.
And I get tired of them saying, "Well, get the budget plan." No, that doesn't help anyone.
That doesn't do.
That doesn't give anybody any relief
and
anywhere.
If you're on the budget plan, you can't get like I forget what the deferment or whatever, where they'll break it up over time. If you got to get off the budget plan in order to do that.
Yeah.
And most people, the reason that they're getting on the damn budget plan is because they can't afford the thing.
And they think it's going to help them, but it doesn't help them.
Right.
It's not going to help them.
Now, I do think that there are times when it can help. Like when we lived in Michigan City before NIPSCO rates started just skyrocketing. Yeah. It made it nice because, the winter, I like it cold, so I don't use as much as,
And
but
you probably could plan for that balloon payment.
Right.
And
it was not as big of a deal
for that balloon payment too.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. And what about all these poor people that are on they're on Social Security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People on Social Security, people that are, you don't even have to be on minimum wage anymore.
No, you don't.
Regular people working what used to be phenomenally paying jobs.
Can't afford it.
Can't afford it.
No, they can't.
It's unreal. And I want to make sure that I'm very clear on this. I don't think any one individual is responsible for this. It is a host of failures across our government, across NIPS,
But I'll say, as a person running, if Mr. Pressel would have voted yes on those amendments, on any one of those 20 amendments.
Yeah, there were a lot.
There were 1002 had 20 amendments.
To
it. If you just look at 1002 alone, why wouldn't?
And that would be House Bill 1002, right?
Why wouldn't he want to help us?
There are some, as I stated in the beginning,
that's disheartening.
It is,
sir. Why wouldn't you want to?
It is. Well, there was a bill that was introduced, and I think he was like a co-author, and then voted against it.
Yeah, and he does that a lot. He writes bills and then he votes against them, and I don't understand that. I don't understand at all.
I'm not sure.
And it happens a lot. I see, and that's another thing. That's what I said. I've been watching things for a long time. I've been watching this person write bills and then vote against them. Write bills and then vote against them. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Now, I'm not saying this is why, but one could make the argument that way you can highlight whichever vote matters at the time. So again, I'm not saying that's the reason, but it is convenient to let's say, write a bill. This is just a purely for example, to write a bill or be part of a bill that welcomes out-of-state CDL holders without any kind of verification that they're not going to kill anybody, and then turn around and write a bill that takes away a driver's license from someone who can't speak English. And purely, rhetorical questions.
We can have a talk about driver privilege cards. Let's have that conversation.
Okay.
If you would like to have that conversation.
Yeah. And me personally, I just want to put this out there. If you are, at some point someone said, "Oh, you don't attack fellow Republicans." Your record is not an attack.
No.
It is what you're doing as your job, and I'm your employer.
Yeah.
It is my job to evaluate you. That's what the ballot box is for. And so I will absolutely bring up a record that I disagree with.
You can go see it and see what's been done.
Yeah.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Nobody's making things up.
No.
You can even see what was said in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
The Indy Star actually has a lot of things in it. Go read it.
Yes, I agree.
Go read
Indy Star has done some extensive coverage.
A lot of people don't know to go look in the Indy Star, but
one of my greatest concerns, and it's one reason why I will be paying very close attention to this race, is there is a video of the incumbent stressing to I believe it was the Senate, how important it is to fund Indianapolis's roads.
Yeah. Have you seen our roads?
Right. I don't know if you guys have driven on LaPorte County or even Starke County's roads. I'd argue Starke is a little better. Not tons better, but a little better.
But yeah.
But LaPorte County roads are awful. They are awful.
But sir, it's the capital.
But it's the capital. Yeah. So basically, we should bail out
on your own district.
The terrible policies in Indianapolis.
But bail on your own district for the capital.
Yeah.
I'm just, that was kind of appalling to me.
It was. That was a gut punch. When I saw that, I was very disheartened by that.
I was too.
Yeah. So there are obviously things that we could discuss that are let's say not ideal, right? Voting record wise, statements wise. But I do think it's important to highlight the incumbent was a truck driver. Or it was at some point. I learned that when I ran for office. Senator Bohacek was a truck driver. So I expected more familiarity with the things going on in the trucking industry. And when there was a huge scandal, Louisiana had this backroom deal going on, like California, like New York, where they were just handing out CDLs to people. And we're not talking like a regular driver's license. Those are bad enough.
Pennsylvania, I think, did too.
I think so. But Louisiana, there was an entire like group in a local BMV that was just signing off with, I mean, no exams, no tests.
Nothing.
No nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the argument is, well, whatever company hires them should be responsible to train them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true to an extent, but that relies on companies following the law. And I don't know if you guys are have been paying attention. There's a couple of accounts on X that are tracking these fraudulent trucking companies that pop up overnight, run these trucks, get tons of violations, enough to get shut down. And then they transfer all the assets to another company. And then they do the same thing over and over again. Yeah. And these people, we share the highway with these guys.
And they're dangerous.
They're absolutely. Absolutely. I was a trainer for almost a decade. And
your kids are driving on the highway with these people.
I take it very personally because it's like giving your heart and soul to a profession, to watch that profession turn into almost hot garbage at this point because of all the people that are getting hurt and killed. Because we're just handing these things out with nothing. Yeah. And so it was a couple of years ago. He actually had spoke at the breakfast and he had said, we proposed a bill that would just basically they show their CDL and we give them an Indiana one.
And then they're forced, I think it was over some insurance or something too. He thinks they would be forced to get insurance.
Right. Well, no, that was the argument for giving illegals. So that's another thing, right? There was a couple of different ones. So the illegals
this
one
has been going on for a while.
This isn't new. So the argument was they're going to drive anyway.
Right.
At least if we give them a legal license, because you can't get insurance if you don't have a license. But if we give them a driver's license, then they can get insurance. And then that way, when they kill you, your family can at least collect a payout. Those weren't the words that were used, but it's the gist behind it.
Sentiment.
And I disagreed because, again, it's like an amnesty. It's like, well, we don't really care that you broke the law. We don't really care that you're driving. And
he had a 4-hour session on it, like a workshop.
A workshop, absolutely.
A 4-hour workshop.
So a little bit of kind of left field here. Are you familiar with either Kurt Knisely or John Jacob?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So they were elected to the Indiana State House, and they were very, especially Kurt Knisely, you can feel however you want to feel about the man, but he was incredibly transparent.
Okay.
And he shared everything, including caucus information, right? So he would go into committees, he would and he would share everything. Well, they actually kicked him out of the Republican caucus.
Okay.
He wasn't allowed to be in there because he was transparent.
Okay.
So that's one of the symptoms. And I was told this by several people who are quite proud of the fact that they were having closed door meetings. And the point was, well, this is how we hash out bills, and
you're an elected official, things should be transparent.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I just don't think there's any way to overcome that that belief block there, the difference of opinion. So
if I have
we'll have
something
to
to
see.
hide, there's a problem.
Yeah. And it really does come down to, do you have something to hide, or do you want to be as transparent as possible? And unfortunately, and I'm just going to say this, I just recently saw, and I haven't done any independent verification yet, but the sheer amount of money that is getting funneled into this campaign is sickening. At latest estimate is like $140 something thousand.
Well, when I looked at the campaign finance report at the beginning of the race, there was $154,000 to start. So I can only imagine what it is now. And it closed today. Our campaign finance reports closed today, so we have to report on the 17th. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on.
It will be. It's on my phone, so I don't have it, but I took a screenshot. I'm going to do a show soon, and I'm going to show you guys where these donations are coming from, because I think that's important. People need to know.
I will give you a little tip.
Yeah.
Some of it was energy companies.
Of course. Of course. And I'm going to say this. When I ran for state rep, the incumbent did tell me, make sure you go ask NIPSCO for money. They give money to anyone.
Yeah, and I didn't ask. I don't
want their money.
I will be honest with you guys. I never want to sit on a big pile of cash.
Right.
So when you don't get inundated with mailers or texting any of that
volume of mailers.
So
there are a lot of mailers.
Yeah, you will get some mailers from me, but not every day.
Mm-hmm.
So expect some mailers from me, because
I got 2 in one day.
Yeah. I have some mailers coming. I will tell you guys that.
Okay.
I do have some.
Watch your mailbox.
So I have some coming. But I don't ever want to sit on a mountain of money. I just don't.
I'm going to tell you, that was at least for me, that was my biggest hang up as a candidate, was asking people for money. What was saying?
I will tell you, I have no qualms asking for money.
Okay, good.
I'm a woman. I don't mind asking for money. Okay, let's be straight here.
Right.
Okay, I am a female. I don't mind asking for money.
Right.
That's not a problem. But I want to make sure that if you give me a donation, I am not beholden to nobody. Okay,
that's a key.
And I never want you to think that because you give me a donation that I'm beholden to you and what you stand for.
Right.
Because I am who I am.
Yeah.
And I have my morals and I have values, and I stick to those morals and values. And
good.
I am very I have high standards and integrity. So.
And that's something that I believe is missing up and down the ballot. I'm not talking about anyone in particular here. In general, our elected officials are not the cream of the crop. Yeah. They're just not. There are bright spots, like your husband, I believe, is a bright spot. I believe he has integrity. There are others that I believe they are more concerned about themselves. And unfortunately, that seems to be the norm.
And I will say another thing about donations. When there's a little old lady and she wants to support me and she doesn't have any money for herself and she tries to give me a donation, I don't want that donation. I want her to take care of herself.
Right.
She can support me in other ways.
I was going to say.
Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell your family.
Yes.
I don't need that monetary donation. Just as good if you tell your neighbors and your friends and your families and you make it to the polls, you vote, you support me in other ways.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Vow to take one person with you to the voting booth to vote in the primary, even if you plan on voting for the incumbent. I want people to vote.
Voting is important.
It is critical, especially in the primary. I cannot stress that enough. When I was just just a wee kid and just started voting, I didn't even know what the primary was about.
Yeah.
Like it was okay, those
Primary
guys
is
are
super important.
it is critically
Well, your
important.
local election is super important.
It is.
I worked the elections. Oh my goodness. I've caught so much.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I've caught so much heat over working the elections.
Which I just want to say this. I have never seen a more dedicated group of people than our poll workers here in LaPorte County. And we don't have enough.
Yeah, we don't.
We need people to work the polls. If you can squeeze it in your schedule, even if it's just a day, you can work early voting.
Yep.
Contact voter registration, right? That's who you talk to.
Yep.
And because she deigned to help out at the polls, oh my Lord, a particular individual lost their entire mind.
I got a lot of grief.
You did. You did. And it was ridiculous.
The elections every time I can work the elections. If my husband's not running,
right.
If I'm not running, if I can work the election, I usually work mobile voting.
Right.
Because a lot of times we don't have a bathroom.
That's true. That is true. Depending on where they're parked that particular day, you may or may not be able to run in and use
a lot of
the
times
facilities.
It's really cold or it's really hot, depending on if it's spring or fall.
Yeah.
It's just the mobile voting is usually the most uncomfortable spot to be.
Yeah, it is.
If you want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm. Those seats are not like comfortable
it's just
at all.
because you never know where you're going to be.
Yeah, it's a bus.
And plus, and the locations are fine. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
they are. But I mean, you just never know what you're going to encounter that day.
Right.
Or what individuals you're going to encounter that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to work that position because I want to make the other person, usually, it's always a Democrat.
Right. Because we got to have a Republican and a Democrat working at the same time to keep an eye on each other.
Exactly. And I try to make the other person comfortable, and I'm usually comfortable handling any situation that comes up.
Yeah. And I will say, and this is something that I kind of want to address. I hope it's okay. I hope it doesn't make you like self-conscious or anything. But people often are judged on their appearance, right? And a few years ago, you had very short hair and it was colored. And so people, and the larger glasses, and people would see that and be like, oh my God, she's not a typical Republican. And so they immediately thought that you had a liberal bent and then I started talking to her and I realized she's probably more conservative than I am.
I will be honest. I don't like hair. That's my thing. I don't like it when it touches the back of my neck. It feels weird and I don't like it. And it's been really hard for me to keep it this way.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I don't really like it. I really don't. But
it looks good though, I think. Yeah.
My youngest daughter asked me if I would grow it back again. And I told her I would try and do that for her.
Fair enough.
So I'm trying to keep it that way.
Yeah.
But I really don't like it. And I really would like to cut it short. Yeah. And I will be honest with you guys, if you have short hair, you never have a bad hair day.
Right? I rarely have I rarely have hair days. No.
You never have a bad hair day.
You never have a bad hair day when you have no hair.
You just get out of the shower, you kind of just
just
and it's
brush
good.
it back,
and,
done.
I'm like super I'm happier that way. I'll just be honest with you. I am.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's something that it's been going on a while. Now, I will say, you don't have the septum piercing and you don't have the so it's not, but
my ears are pierced.
People judge on appearance. Whether they should or not is a debate for another time, but people do. And so they'll see, like, for example, my wife, she has tattoos. She's not your typical, WASP or the image of a Republican that people have in their minds.
There's a lot of stereotypes.
There are a lot of stereotypes.
It's sad. And I wish that wasn't true. It really bothers me that there's a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah. But I mean, like, for example, the colored hair, septum piercing Like the more you stack on, the more the stereotype kind of.
And I do get it. And you know, I honestly I prefer purple hair as well.
See, that's what I mean, but not blue.
I've had blue hair.
Green.
My daughter's had green hair.
And again,
and I homeschooled, so I encouraged my kids to experiment.
Express yourself.
I did.
Hair grows back.
That's what I told them.
Yep.
I said it's not like you're marring up your body, and it's not permanent, and it's just hair. And that's what I told them. It's just hair.
Yep.
Express yourself. Have fun now.
Exactly.
Because you never know what the future holds.
Yeah, because in the future your employer may not want you to do
and
that.
That's what I told them. They were young. I homeschooled them. I didn't really care what they did to their hair.
Right.
I said, have fun now. Be what you want to be now, because you never know what the future holds. And
that's right.
If you have a job and you're self-employed or whatever, then that's fine. But so I encourage my kids to be individual and to be who they are.
And that's really critical in today's world because, man, everybody's in a box, right?
And
especially with the left versus right, and if you have this, you believe that, automatically, if you don't call Trump a Nazi, then you're a Nazi. Right. That's the assumption in some people's minds. And it's just really silly. We've gotten to that point.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Yeah, I mean,
and it's unfortunate.
Any given day, you see me walk around with a book. I like to read. I like to read to learn. What's your favorite?
I guess genre. Do you like sci-fi or nonfiction or biographies?
When I'm reading for, I don't really read for pleasure read, honestly.
Okay, so you read for knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If I'm pleasure reading, actually, I used to read Stephen King. I don't read him anymore. Yeah,
dude,
because he went off the mountain.
Oh yeah, that was my mom's favorite author. She devoured.
Yeah, I have a good collection. But the recent books,
yeah,
like you said, the Trump derangement syndrome is hard there.
Yeah, and he makes a fool out of himself on social media.
It's like you can't read a book and that's all the book is, like his recent books. So I'm like, I'm not doing it. So I haven't read anything recent for a long time. But I when I do read too, I read 2 or 3 books at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have a whole stack.
A little stack, yeah.
Yeah. So I usually read for knowledge. So if I'm trying to learn something, if I'm learning herbalist stuff.
Yeah, then you'll have several of those. Okay.
I read survival books. And
okay.
Things like that.
All right. So there is what's your when you think of your Stephen King go-to book, your nestle up by the fire, your cold or your warm comfort. I'm going to read this. What do you think of? Which book?
I don't know. I mean, because they're also, he's got a lot of different ones.
He does. He does.
I don't know. I've been reading his books since I've been in high school.
Right.
So,
like me, I loved Christine, right? I would read the heck out of Christine.
Yeah.
I also like The Stand.
The Stand was good. Have you ever read Rose Madder?
I did not read that one. No.
Oh, we should read that one.
Is it good? Okay.
That one was crazy.
Yeah.
I read that one when I was pregnant. That probably wasn't a good idea, but
probably not.
Yeah, because that one was pretty wild.
Yeah. Tommy Knockers I read, it was all right. Yeah. But I actually was a big fan of his
you read him when he was Richard Bachman, Running Man.
Yeah, Running Man, Rage.
I was gonna ask Richard Bachman.
Yeah.
I have some Richard Bachman books.
I used to have the Richard Bachman collection, and that was what for me, that was my big thing.
Yeah, Richard Bachman wasn't bad. Yeah, I was a huge fan of his when I was younger, and
there she is right there. Yeah, my wife says, I have purple hair and I'm a Republican. Hair doesn't make you or not make you a Republican.
No, it doesn't.
But people make these assumptions, they see, well, they're not a real Republican because they, I've seen, they're not a real Christian because they don't wear a long dress. They're not a real Republican because they don't do this or don't do that. The only thing that makes you a Republican or a Democrat is the way you vote. And that's it. You either vote this way or you vote that way. And there are many layers in there as well. I've talked to some people that I thought were dyed in the wool, hardcore lefty Democrats.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh no, I voted for you, man, you know, because you know, resonated with me and and I'm like, are you sure? And I mean, they're showing me ballot pictures of the ballot, and I'm still like, oh no. Because we make assumptions. Yeah. And you would be very surprised at what actually people think that they don't broadcast, you know? And I think that's really important too, is remember, ladies and gentlemen, nobody knows how you voted in that booth.
Nope.
Nobody knows other than you.
Yep.
And when the numbers get tallied, they get tallied, but they can't go, well, Bob voted for Juanita and Jake, he voted for. That's not going to happen. So don't feel like, ultimately vote for who you believe is going to represent your interests. Represent you. Exactly.
And I think that's true. And I mean, everybody wants something different.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think we all have kind of the same overarching desire. I think we just have different ways of believing we get there.
I get the question a lot when I'm talking to people. I've talked to a lot of people over the past couple of weeks. And they always are you a Republican or a Democrat?
Right.
You know, and of course, obviously, that's a good question to ask.
It is.
And,
especially in the primary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell them I'm a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're elected, you represent the whole body.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And that's the thing. People need to know that when you are in that position, you represent everyone.
Right.
You know.
Right. But there's a reason that the Democrat didn't win. Yeah. If you're elected and you ran as a Republican, there's a reason.
But they need to know that I'm going to be a fair person that's going to look at all the issues, and I'm going to take, your voice also into consideration because I'm a representative of you as well, because you are in my district.
Right. Right. You represent the whole.
Exactly.
district.
And that's important.
Right.
That's important for everybody to know that.
Yeah.
Like not to be left out just because you feel like, I'm a Democrat. They don't care about me.
Right. Right. No, that's
true.
That's important, because I will say, as someone who's a transplant from District 9, I didn't feel like my voice mattered at all in District 9. Not even a little bit, which is why I ran for that seat. So it's good to hear that you will at least listen to constituents from the other party.
That when you're elected for everyone.
Yep.
Please don't feel like, you're going to be locked out, or I don't care. I mean, what you say, your voice, restoration, your voice, it's representative. I represent the whole district.
Right. All right. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time. This is very enlightening, and I hope people took the opportunity. How can they learn more about you?
I have a Facebook page.
Okay.
I have an email address.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me have the card. I'll hold it.
I have.
Okay, so my camera's reversed, but you get it. Okay, so I need my glasses. Unfortunately, because of my technical issues, I normally have the thing, at the bottom, but I didn't get it done this time. But if you go to Facebook, Juanita Haney for state representative, look that up, or you can email her. It's okay to share the email, right?
Absolutely.
Is Haney for state rep at gmail.com.
Yep.
Haney for state rep at gmail.com. If I can hold this, it's backwards.
It is backwards.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Is this one the right way?
I don't know. You want me to hold it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. Anyway,
let's see.
It's pretty easy. Haney for state rep
I don't know.
at gmail.com. Yeah, maybe. That one's either way.
It's okay. Yeah, it's my Facebook is Juanita Haney for state representative, and Haney for state rep at gmail.com. Yeah.
There you go. And she'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Reach out.
I'll
on
answer
Facebook.
Any questions that anybody may have.
Yeah.
I've been talking to a lot of people recently. If I don't get back to you right away, please just hold on. I will get back to you.
Okay, that's good to know, because and it's a good thing and a bad thing. So Facebook, you can set it up on Messenger where it sends like an automated message, but sometimes when it does that, you won't get a proper notification, I've noticed. So just be patient. Remember that sometimes people either get a lot of messages, or sometimes Facebook Messenger just doesn't work right, and it doesn't send me a
it's been
notification.
spinning lately.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've had the same issue where you go to it and it just sits there and it's like failed to load,
Yeah, it
or
has.
I'll click on a link and nothing happens. It's,
My email works great though.
there you go. There you go. All right. Again, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Me.
And I hope, I wish you luck. I am glad that at least you decided to step up and do it, because
I figure what's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, everything else aside, I think multiple people in primaries makes the party stronger, and I think it gives, if nothing else, exceptional opportunities for conversations. So
you have to try.
You gotta try. Absolutely. So
you never know if you don't shoot your shot.
Agreed. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Juanita Haney. She's running for state rep for District 20. District 20 encompasses parts of LaPorte and Starke County, and she is on the ballot in the primary. You will not see her name if you pull a Democrat ballot. You got to pull a Republican ballot if you wish to vote for her. Again, quick summary, the incumbent has been there for 10 years. If you're happy with the job that's been done, then by all means, sit it out or vote for the incumbent. If you are not, if you believe that the roads here in our district are more important than the roads in Indianapolis, especially with our tax money, then something to consider. We'll do a recap soon. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this evening. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. And as always, God bless you, God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. Hope you have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you soon.
Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/.